One, two, three. Hey, what's up? This is Wilson with Abysmal Hymns, and I have with me my friend Liz, and we are going to discuss her experience at Frolicon this year. If you don't know what Frolicon is, I don't know why you clicked on this, but I will tell you it is a convention that kind of formed out of the ashes of Phantasm, which was a fantasy adult convention that spawned out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, and then eventually came to Atlanta, where Frolicon is based and has had a couple of homes, and now it's over in the Sheraton that the Dragon Con registration's in. So
The Cortland Grand.
the
It got
Cortland
bought out.
Grand. Okay.
Mhm.
So there we
Yeah.
go. Um, so yeah. So with that, I am going to find out a few things and then we'll get into it. What number Frolicon is this for you? When was the first one you went to?
Oh, Lord. I've been going since like 2014.
Okay.
Um, and never missed one. So, quick math. Let's see. Only one got missed because of COVID. So,
So you went to the one at the hotel before the one downtown, the one by the airport, right? Or no, are you okay?
no,
All
maybe
right.
it was 20. It was the first year at
The
what was
Sheraton.
the Sheraton,
Right.
now Cortland Grand. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
That's right. I probably saw you at that one.
Mhm.
So how do you see this year's comparing to past Frolicons?
Oh man, this year I feel like it's starting to go back to the way it used to be. So I've seen a few waves and iterations of how Frawley's kind of changed over the years. Um, when I first started going, it was very party heavy. Uh, yeah, a lot of shenanigans, to say the least. Like you see people doing all kinds of things everywhere. And a lot of sex parties and official sex parties too. And then once COVID hit and the first year back, things changed a lot. It's kind of hard to put into words. Um, like the crowds grew a lot. It seems like I guess a lot of people experimented over quarantine, and so it was like Brawley was their first time going to any sort of kink event or poly event or alternative lifestyle in general. Um, so the first couple Frawleys post quarantine were a struggle, I would say, for those who've been around and kind of know the etiquette. There was a lot of just like, damn new kids, they don't know. You don't interrupt a scene. You don't do, like certain things. Um, and now it's kind of swinging back to, all right, everybody gets etiquette, everybody gets consent. It's kind of getting back to, all right, now we can party and party safely. So that's been kind of nice. Not that it wasn't safe before, but it was just, you might catch a, stray flogger to the
Right.
face if you're, just they don't know what they're doing. So,
Sure. Yeah, that is interesting. I know also during COVID, like 1763 closed,
oh,
and
heartbreaking.
yeah, so there was not a lot of outlets for that type of thing
Yeah.
for the new people that kind of, as you said, experimented during COVID.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I know that there's a Decadent Desires Club that opened in its place, but I think that that's like
That
really,
closed.
yeah, that closed too.
Yeah.
All
There have
right.
been like 4 or 5 different attempts at dungeons and play spaces. Rumors seems to be the only one that's holding on, and they're pretty good. I
Okay.
like it there.
Are
Yeah.
they dedicated to that, or is it like a different club and they just have that
It's
night?
well, they just yeah, it's unfortunately they just rent the space. I
Okay.
know the people who rent it are looking for buying a space, but obviously that's going to take time and a lot of money.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Cool. What was your experience? Did you go to panels? Did you just go to the private events?
Yeah. So this year was pretty different for me. This was the first year I've ever gone completely alone without friends or a partner or anybody. Had a hotel room all to myself. So that was pretty nice. Um, I I also am recently divorced, like literally just a few months divorced. So very different Frolly for me going in. I was very focused on not having a plan and just having fun this year. So I didn't hit up many panels. Like the ones, a lot of the ones I've seen before because I've been going for so long, and it tends to be a lot of repeats. So it's one of those like I'll pop my head in and support a friend that is presenting, but haven't really gone to a class in this year. I've definitely focused on private parties. A lot of private scenes, some scenes in the dungeon. Yeah.
Cool, cool. So what was the dungeon like this year?
I I liked the dungeon this year. It was interesting. So I think with the return of GUI and how Rule 34 parties, which is the orgy, basically, like the official con orgy, not just a private one. Um, with that, it got really big last year, and then this year, it seems like everybody was focused on going there more than the dungeon, which was interesting. So for especially for the Frawley Dungeon, usually it's so packed because it's in a ballroom and they just bring in equipment and there's finite space. So it's one of those, usually it's very crowded. But yeah, this year it really wasn't. Like I only had to wait maybe half an hour for one of the rigs to do a suspension, which there's only like two or three suspension rigs there. So the fact that it wasn't much of a wait was kind of nice and surprising.
Right, yeah, you used to get guys that would just like hog that all
Yeah.
night long, so
Oh yeah. Yeah.
cool. So, and I've heard various things about like the types of people and trends that were embraced. I heard online that like the littles were kind of not as present this year, and there were
Yeah.
less furries. Um,
Mhm.
so what would you say the most visible trends were this year?
Um, hmm. Probably mostly because of the themes of the parties. Clown. Clown was a big one. There were a lot of sexy clowns throughout the weekend. That was interesting because you don't normally see that. Um,
What was the theme for the
one
con?
of the con as a whole this year, oh gosh, what was I think it was just like happy birthday because it was like the
Okay,
20th anniversary
right.
or something like that. It was generic, nothing crazy. But one of the parties in the executive suite was something big top. So yeah, I mean, hell, even I dressed up for that. That was pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what would you say the crowd was like?
Pretty good. Like, well, not too crowded. So I don't think we broke any records this year. I think it stayed about the same as the last year or two. Because I know, like, yeah, I want to say it was like not for Halloween, which was the first one after COVID, but I think the one after that, it was like record breaking, the most we've ever had. And like, yeah, we sold out this year, but it wasn't too bad.
Did
And
you
like,
do you volunteer or no?
I used to. I
Okay.
haven't volunteered in a couple years.
All right.
Yeah, I worked the con suite for many a year, and that was super fun.
Cool. What was the con suite like this year?
Um, Pretty chill. So, the person, like when I used to volunteer, the guy that ran it, Edward, like he'd been doing it for years and he well-oiled machine. And there'd be like so much different food. This year seemed like, yeah, there was food. It was fine, but it seemed a little more basic
Okay.
than past years, which is fine. I mean, it's free food. Can't really complain.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Dragon Con. They'll do
Yeah,
the
exactly.
finger sandwiches.
Yeah.
Cool. So as far as like was it were there younger people or was it more of the older established people coming back that had taken a few years off or what did you notice?
Skewed a little older. Definitely like millennial Gen X was
Okay.
probably the bulk. Um, there's some younger 20 somethings, but I wouldn't say nearly as many as 30 and 40 somethings.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Which typically has kind of been
Yeah,
the case, but I guess that as the 30s and 40 somethings get older, that it was
right.
the 20 somethings from yesterday that are now occupying their space.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what were your favorite things?
Oh boy. Favorites are always so hard to choose. I mean, oh God, yeah, the suspension I did was so good. Oh my God. I haven't had a suspension go that smoothly in a hot minute. Like it was just one of those, just got so floaty. It was magical. Did a single futo. So good. Let's see. I mean, there were so many parties. There was, man, I don't know. It's hard to pick
That's
full
okay.
time and
That's all
straight.
right. It can become a blur. So, as far as
Yeah.
like the hotel, I
Mhm.
know that they've had a interesting relationship with that hotel, and there were some
Yeah.
problems prior to it. I heard about the smoking balcony was closed this year.
Yes, because
How
people
was
got caught
the
fucking.
yeah. So how was the staff and how were the people kind of I guess abiding by the boundaries set there?
I think after the smoking deck closed, people were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, we should actually calm down. Thankfully. The staff were nice. I mean, it's the usual. They just keep their distance. You don't really see the staff much unless you need to go to the front desk for a reason. And then they're very nice. They do what they got to do, you know? So that, yeah, relationship with the staff are fine. The hotel itself's fine. Yeah. I feel like there was a
Cool.
second after that question and I just forgot what it was.
So the second half would have been how so people were behaving in the common
Ah,
spaces because I know that there's
yeah.
often I think there's a church that meets there on Sundays, and then there
Hmm.
are often other conventions that have ranged from real estate to
Mhm.
I don't know. I remember the real estate one though. That was
I remember the year there was a prom. That one
I
was
don't
what was
remember
weird.
I guess that
Yeah.
happened. What year was the prom?
Oh gosh.
Was it before COVID or no?
I think it was after.
Okay. See, so I've missed
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
post COVID because I moved to Florida then. So,
Yeah.
um, but I think that because I first started going, I want to say 2005, so when it was still
Mhm.
Phantasm,
Yeah.
um, and then to that old one that was by the airport, which was interesting
Mhm.
because you used to have to shuttle from MARTA there,
Yeah.
and the shuttle would sometimes stop running, and that would be a surprise. So cool. So were there any? So it was pretty incident free then.
Yeah. I mean, the fire alarm went off at one point, but I feel like that's just a
What
tradition at this
happens?
point.
Right.
Like, somebody inevitably is going to be like, so there's a no open flame rule for the whole con, the whole hotel. Inevitably, there's somebody who's like, it's just wax play. What's the worst? Like every year, every fucking year.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, thankfully, it was just a quick, all right, maybe 3 minutes of the alarm going off, and then it was fine.
Because
But
I
yeah,
would imagine that would have been super enforced because of there was a fire there
yes,
before the convention, right? So,
yes, half of the hotel burned. So they
and was that just
closed.
blocked off or what were,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. So it was one of the hotel, for those who don't know, it's like two towers. And one tower is where the bulk of the con is. That's where all like the convention spaces and all the room parties. And then what we used to colloquially call Quiet Tower was just rooms. And so you could opt for Quiet Tower or Party Tower. So Quiet Tower burned down,
Oh.
like not to the ground, but it
Right, right,
burned.
right.
And so they just had it completely closed off. So yeah.
And
So
were
that was
there
also,
other people booked there during? Okay, so they
or
were
oh, not
sharing party.
for, no, sorry. They had to move a lot of people over to the Hilton and like
Okay,
people had to walk. Um, no, I think they probably still had their like couple rooms for like the airport employees, but
right, right.
for the most part, I didn't until like Monday afternoon, I didn't see any random people walking around. So that was kind of nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's always a plus. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember in like the common area, the place where they had the kind of like it wasn't a Starbucks, but they had Starbucks, that like
Yeah,
snack bar
the fake
area.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would always run into non-participants.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But no, it was just all con people this year. And that was kind of nice to, since Smoking Deck was closed right there, that's because the Starbucks is like next to it.
right, right, right.
Like that just kind of became that little seating area became like the fun social area, which was cool.
Was the pool open or no?
Yeah. Yeah. The
Okay.
pool is open. The hot tub has not been open since the Legionnaire's disease
Right, right, right.
incident a few years ago, back when it was still the Sheraton. So, but yeah, the
Which I
pool is
think was
open.
that was pre-COVID, maybe.
I think, or maybe it was
Was he
early.
or the first one back?
Yeah, somewhere around in there.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. But no, the pool was great and they had their annual mermaid party and that was super cute and fun. So, yeah, it's
Cool.
good.
So how did everything like registration? Was that everything running smooth?
Very
Were
smooth.
they still, I know for a while there was a problem where they were super short on volunteers, so that was creating some logistical situations.
Yeah. So registration was hit and miss this year. Wednesday when they opened, I there were people that were in line for like 3.5 hours. It was a little rough. They instead of having the pre-register line and a separate line for those buying tickets, and they usually also have a VIP line for people who bought tickets at the previous year's event because you can get a discount if you buy it that Sunday. So usually there's the three lines. This time they just had everybody in one, and for some reason, and it definitely slowed things down. I know, I want to say it was Friday that they were really low on volunteers, so that had to have been a struggle. When I picked up my badge, I was in line for probably hour and a half, I think. It wasn't too bad. They at least had like chairs set up, and that was kind of nice. And it's right by the pool, so you can still socialize and like see people. So it's not awful, but it wasn't as good as previous years.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, all conventions are going to have that. I mean, it wasn't a
Yeah.
Dragon Con line where
Right.
it's
No,
wrapped
nowhere near.
around the
No,
block,
absolutely not.
which, in Atlanta in early September, August can be a little grueling. So,
Yeah.
which I would have thought that would have been interesting the times that they had it during October. You went to that one, right?
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I
that?
did. I loved it. I thought it was great. Um, like first off, well, because it was the first one post-COVID, the numbers were very low. They're like, we're only selling so many tickets, like, and they really cracked down on a lot, kept us all safe, which was great. Um, but that was a bizarre year. It was very, very small. And like I said, a lot of people didn't really, it was a lot of new people. That year was a lot of 20 somethings, which again is not usually how it skews. And it showed. Like it was still fun. I had a great time. A really good con that year. But, Like, but yeah, it was very different. The weather was great though, and the fact that it was Halloween like made dressing up a lot more fun and interesting instead of just being a general slut. Like
Yeah,
you
you could be
theme slut.
thematic.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool, and I would think that that would be darker. People would be wearing darker
Oh yeah.
costumes because it doesn't,
Oh.
usually go that way.
Mhm.
Um,
Although this year we did have a dark fantasy party at one of the executive suite parties, so that was cool.
okay. How was that? A
So
lot of
there's a little
vampires.
like spooky demon stuff going on.
Okay. I prefer spooky demon over clown. That works. Yeah. Because the like Frolicon, it used to be like there was more crossover in the goth scene with
Yeah.
it. Um, because back in the day, because it originated too, a lot of the people in the Dragon Con After Dark
Hmm.
parties, which leaned heavily in the goth scene,
Hmm.
um, used to be involved. And
Yeah.
then I saw that kind of diminish, I guess around 2010.
Mm.
And then it kind of was sprinkled in a little bit, but not, there's
Yeah.
less overlap, more fashion, less function. Um,
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
because there used to be like a fetish night at Masquerade, which,
Hmm.
also doubled as goth night. It was like
Right.
synonymous rather than
Hmm.
two separate things. So,
Right. Yeah. And I mean, Atlanta, we just lost a lot of that, like when the shelter closed.
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Atlanta has always had that kind of problem since shelter closed, where there hasn't been like a dedicated goth club. It was always getting kind of
Hmm.
sent over to Masquerade or
Right.
I guess the chamber, not the chamber, what used to be the Heretic got it for a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah. The Heretic still does a monthly goth night, and that's still
Okay.
pretty fun. So, yeah. Yeah. We
And
got,
uh and I know that a lot of the BDSM stuff now is just over at the Eagle, which is I guess more
mhm.
appropriate.
Yeah.
And so was that crowd very present, like the old leather?
Not much. Like, there was definitely, I mean, there's the boot blacks every year. Like, there's definitely leather, but yeah, I feel like it was less than usual, actually. But I think that's because what is it?
Is so
Southern,
close. Yeah, Southern
yeah,
Southeastern Leather
yeah.
Federation.
Thank you. That was just like not even a month ago. Like it was only a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So I'm sure, and same with how there weren't really furries this year. Literally the weekend before Raleigh was Furry Week in Atlanta.
Right.
So I'm sure that had a lot to do with the demographics this year too.
Yeah, which that's surprising because so the times like I'm not a furry, but I took my daughter there just so she could see people dressed up. And it's always at
Mhm.
bigger hotels. It was at the West End, and last time
Yeah.
it was at the Marriott.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think that the numbers for that convention would outpace Frolicon, but maybe it's a logistics thing of keeping
Maybe.
everything separated. Because I know
Yeah.
when I was, in the uh more board capacity for Frolicon, had looked
Mhm.
at the Marriott. And I
Mhm.
thought their downstairs area was really good, but I think the problem was the common areas separation was they were
Yeah.
sketchy on that.
Yeah, the way that hotel is laid out, that would be a lot more difficult to
Right,
keep
because the
everything separate.
rooms, there's more,
It's more
you have to
open.
pass through more public space for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's like the idea is cool, but
Yeah, yeah,
hospitality.
yeah. I mean, I could see it having to move to a different hotel because I think
Oh yeah, yeah.
the what is it called now? The Cortland, is that
Portland.
Cortland?
Hmm. We're
Um,
definitely outgrowing it,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially with the one tower gone.
Right,
Yeah.
sure. So I would, I mean, I guess the West End could work.
Hmm.
I could see that.
You know,
The ballrooms though are all upstairs, So
Oh,
technically,
those that would be easier.
there would
Yeah.
not be a downstairs dungeon. So that would be
Hmm.
weird, but
Yeah.
that's how it goes. So did you go to any panels at all or no? Just popped in
Um,
to see.
this year, no, I didn't really sit in through a whole panel. No. Usually I do. Like I said, this was a weird year for me just because my personal life.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
So,
I like to
yeah.
always gauge it by whatever the programming is, like,
Hmm.
because that kind of expresses to me like what the interest is.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, I mean, I definitely looked at the schedule, and like I said, a lot of my friends were presenting. So I know a lot of the classes and what they were on, and I've seen them, a good
right.
chunk of them before.
Okay. So it's more
So, like, I can still
back to
talk about
basics.
it,
Right.
but
Well, that's okay. I
yeah,
get it. I mean,
yeah.
because you can only sit through some of those things so many times before,
Right,
you know.
right.
That's how it goes. Well, cool. Well, thanks for the update. Appreciate it. It's good to get informed from afar of how that went and to let people know. So yeah. So we'll have to have you back and talk about some
Sure.
other things. So thanks for taking the time. And you
Yeah, thanks
guys
for
click
having
all the
me.
buttons that you need to click, and we'll see you